The galaxy had forgotten the sound of war. For 2 centuries, countless alien empires traded and talked instead of fighting. Planets glowed with peace and order. The Galactic Council believed nothing could ever disturb their calm. Then a tiny signal came from a blue planet at the edge of known space. Earth. Most aliens laughed when they saw it. The message carried greetings, maps, and an offer to join the Council. To them, humans looked weak, a new race crawling into the stars. They had no ancient fleet, no great empire, no famous heroes, only curiosity. Among the Council sat an old historian named Kareth of Veltor. His skin was pale silver and his eyes never blinked. He had studied human history for years through intercepted broadcasts. He had seen their wars, their rebuilding, their endless return after every fall. Kareth rose during the meeting. His voice trembled. "Do not provoke them," he said. "They are not like us. Humans learn too fast, and when they lose, they come back stronger." The chamber filled with laughter. One member replied, "They are children of dirt. Let them speak if they wish. We own the stars." Kareth sat down slowly, knowing his words would be ignored. The first encounter months later, a small Terran exploration fleet entered Council space. 3 cruisers, 1 command ship, and a team of diplomats. They carried peace symbols on their hulls and broadcast a simple message. "We come in peace. We bring friendship." The Draenex Empire saw an opportunity. Their ruler, Admiral Zorth, wanted to prove his fleet's strength. He ordered the humans to surrender their ships for inspection. Captain Mira Holt, commander of the Terran Alliance ship Aurora, answered with calm words. "We come in peace. But we don't kneel." Her voice was steady. Her crew watched the radar in silence. Then, without warning, Admiral Zorth gave the command to fire. Blue plasma tore through the black of space. 3 human cruisers vanished in seconds. The Aurora tried to raise shields but was hit again and again until its lights went dark. The Council broadcast ended there, with static and silence. For 72 hours, the galaxy believed humanity had been destroyed. Back on Earth in the command chamber of the Terran Defense Network, a single transmission played on a loop. It was Captain Holt's final message. "We come in peace, but we don't kneel." No one spoke. No one wept. Every officer stood in silence, eyes fixed on the flickering screen. Admiral Elias Kane turned to the assembly. His voice was quiet but sharp as steel. "They wanted a message. We'll give them one." That night, the stars above Earth seemed to fade. Communication arrays went offline. Civilian satellites went dark. Across the solar system, something massive began to move. The hidden fleet far beyond Neptune, inside black ice caverns, ancient hangars opened. Metal walls shook as enormous triangular warships powered up after a century of silence. Blue light spread along their edges. Energy cores roared like thunder. Each ship bore the same mark, TDF, Terran Defense Force. Their AI systems woke one by one. They whispered through quantum links, repeating the same phrase, "For Mira Holt." Admiral Kane stood inside the orbital citadel named Vigil. A holographic map showed the galaxy filled with enemy symbols. He spoke only 3 words. "Prepare for departure." Engines ignited with a silent blaze. The fleet folded into slipspace, vanishing into darkness. Whispers across the stars weeks passed. Then strange reports reached the Council. A Draenex mining colony, gone. A Veltor scout fleet, missing. A communication hub, destroyed, orbit turned to glass. Rumors grew faster than truth. Some said the humans had returned with new weapons. Others claimed ghosts were haunting the void. Admiral Zorth demanded answers. But then a single encrypted message arrived at his command ship. No introduction, no threat. Just 5 words. Warning ignored. Retaliation authorized. The message contained Earth's old signal code. The arrival Zorth stared at the screen. His bridge crew whispered nervously, "Sir." Unidentified object emerging from hyperspace. Outside the viewport, the stars began to bend. A huge shadow appeared, darker than space itself. A ship larger than any the Draenex had ever built. Triangular, silent, covered in blue edge lights that glowed like cold fire. Then came the voice. Clear, human, unstoppable. "Admiral Zorth, this is Admiral Kane of the Terran Defense Force. You fired first. We're here to finish it." Zorth opened his mouth to respond, but the light outside turned white. The sensors screamed. The stars disappeared behind fire. The wrath of humanity had arrived. The explosion swallowed Admiral Zorth's fleet like a storm of suns. Energy waves rippled across the system, lighting up every scanner from one side of the galaxy to the other. When the glare faded, nothing was left but drifting metal. The proud Dranex armada reduced to silence. From the shadow of the wreckage, the Terran Defense Force moved forward, calm, cold, unstoppable. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the flagship TDS Vengeance, his eyes fixed on the holographic map. One by one, enemy beacons vanished. "Admiral," said his second officer, "enemy communications are collapsing." "Good," Kane replied. "Then they'll finally start listening." Echoes of fear news spread fast, faster than light itself. Across the Council worlds, whispers of human retaliation filled every station and bar. Alien merchants shut down routes that crossed near Sol. Governors ordered their fleets to observe but not engage. For the first time in centuries, the mighty Galactic Council was afraid. On Veltor Prime, old historian Kareth watched the reports. He whispered to himself, "I told them, they do not fight for conquest. They fight for remembrance." The camera drones showed fragments of human messages captured across different sectors. Each one had the same chilling words: "This is retaliation, not invasion. You fired first. You end it, or we will." The human strategy: the Terran fleet did not march like other armadas. They did not announce their targets or occupy planets. They struck like lightning, silent and exact. The first wave took out Dranex shipyards in under an hour. Their orbital rings melted into blue vapor. The second wave erased the Veltor defense network, disabling hundreds of stations without a single civilian death. The third wave hacked Council communication grids, replacing all transmissions with one symbol: the burning insignia of the Terran Defense Force. No one understood how humans were moving through space so fast. Theories spread. Some said they had discovered a dark corridor. Others claimed they had bent time itself. The truth was simpler. The humans had prepared for this day long before the first shot was fired. In hidden colonies, engineers had built slipspace accelerators, massive rings that launched fleets faster than any known technology. Every scientist, every miner, every soldier on Earth had worked together. It was not a war fleet. It was humanity itself in motion. The message to the galaxy, eh? Few days later, all Council screens went black. Then the face of Admiral Kane appeared, calm, expressionless, surrounded by the faint hum of his warship. "To the Galactic Council," he said, "you chose arrogance over peace. You killed our people, and you thought distance would protect you. You were wrong. Humanity will not conquer, but we will not forgive. The war ends when you surrender those responsible. Until then, we will keep coming." Then the transmission cut off. Silence followed, the kind that shakes even the strongest hearts. Retaliation expands. In the following weeks, the galaxy burned in flashes of blue and gold light. Human fleets struck dozens of Dranex worlds, disabling energy cores and leaving entire planets in blackout. Not one civilian was harmed, but every military ship that resisted was vaporized. Alien commanders tried to retaliate. They sent fleets of hundreds, but the humans fought with tactics unseen before. Their ships moved in perfect sync, predicting enemy positions seconds before they appeared. It was as if the humans could see the future. Inside the control core of the TDS Vengeance, AI Athena whispered battle data into Admiral Kane's earpiece. "Targets aligned. Estimated losses, 0%. Execute." Confirmed. And another fleet vanished. The turning point. Finally, the Council sent an emergency transmission to Earth, a desperate plea for peace. But no answer came. Instead, a human probe arrived at the Council's space station carrying only one message: "We will come to you. Prepare to answer." Kareth of Veltor stood before the trembling Council leaders. "You see now," he said softly. "They warned you, and you ignored it." One leader shouted, "Then help us stop them." Kareth turned away. "You cannot stop what you created. You taught them fear. Now they teach you consequence." The wrath unleashed far beyond the Council's core. A massive ripple appeared in space. Thousands of Terran ships emerged in perfect formation, like stars aligning for Judgment Day. Their hulls gleamed with cold light. At their center floated a gigantic dreadnought, the Retribution, its thrusters glowing like miniature suns. Admiral Kane stood silently, looking at the endless stars before him. He knew billions were watching, waiting, fearing. "No more warnings," he said. "End this." His command echoed across the fleet. Beams of plasma light tore through the void. Alien defense lines shattered. Energy shields melted. For hours, the stars looked like they were burning. And then, silence again. The human fleet powered down their weapons. Admiral Kane spoke one last time, his voice calm and final. "The wrath of humanity has been shown. Choose peace or extinction." Part 2. Ending Hook. As the Council prepared to surrender, one last transmission was detected. Not from the humans, but from deep space. A mysterious new signal pulsed beyond known coordinates, broadcasting in an ancient Terran frequency. Something no one could trace. Kareth stared at the signal's pattern and whispered in fear. "They are not done. Humanity has awakened something even greater." The war had ended, or so the galaxy believed. The Draenix fleets were gone. The Council had surrendered. And for the first time in centuries, the stars were quiet again. But deep in the void, far beyond mapped space, something ancient was listening. It began as a whisper on forgotten frequencies. A low pulse, repeating every 7 seconds. A pattern older than the Council itself. The Terran Defense Force detected it first. At first, they thought it was just cosmic noise. But the rhythm matched a long-lost Terran code. A code from before the first expansion era, almost 2,000 years ago. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of the Retribution, watching the signal's waveform dance across the holographic screen. "Origin?" he asked. "Unclear," replied the AI Athena. "Coordinates are outside the known galaxy. Signal is human, but not ours." The room fell silent. No one moved. The forgotten code. When the signal was decrypted, a single message appeared in glowing text. "Project Dark Star. Status active." Kane frowned. He had studied every classified Terran archive, but nothing called Dark Star had ever existed in official records. Athena continued scanning. "Secondary message detected," she said. "Voice transmission. Originating 40,000 light-years beyond Galactic Rim." A voice began to play. Distorted, deep, yet unmistakably human. "If you're hearing this, the galaxy is no longer safe. We tried to stop them, but they are coming." The bridge went quiet again. Even the engines seemed to hum softer, as if listening. "Who's coming?" Kane whispered. "Unknown," said Athena. The message ends there, but in the background of the transmission, faint metallic echoes could be heard, like thousands of engines roaring in the dark. The Council's fear when the Galactic Council learned of the signal. Panic spread like fire. They begged humanity to destroy it, fearing it could be a weapon or an ancient war machine. Admiral Kane refused. "We don't destroy what we don't understand," he told them. "Last time you ignored a warning, you started a war." Kareth, the old Veltor historian, contacted Kane privately through a secure channel. "Admiral, I believe I know what you found," Kareth said slowly. "Long ago, before the Council, there were legends of a Terran fleet that vanished. They called it the First Dawn Armada, ships built before your world unified." Kane's eyes narrowed. "And you think this signal is theirs?" "I think—" Kareth hesitated. "They were building something greater than war. And it went wrong." Journey into the unknown. Within days, the Terran High Command authorized a mission. A small fleet, 10 warships led by the Retribution, would travel to the source of the signal beyond the Galactic Rim. The crew called it the Edge Expedition. As the fleet entered deep slipspace, stars stretched into streaks of white light. Outside, reality itself began to warp. Sensors picked up strange distortions, fragments of time, echoes of ancient transmissions, even human voices from the past. Lieutenant Arden, the fleet's youngest pilot, whispered over comms, "Sir, are we sure this is real? It feels like space itself is watching us." Admiral Kane didn't reply. His gaze stayed locked on the signal, that steady pulse guiding them deeper into darkness. The Discovery. After 12 days of travel, the fleet exited slipspace and saw it. A massive structure hung before them in the void. It was not a planet, not a station. It was a colossal ring, black as obsidian, wider than Earth's moon, spinning slowly in silence. The surface glowed faintly with ancient runes. Every few seconds, lightning-like arcs flashed across its edges. Athena analyzed it instantly. Material unknown. Energy levels as off the scale. Structure appears dormant. Then the signal changed. The pulse they had been following turned into a voice. This time it was clear, calm, female, and human. Terran command. Do you still exist? The bridge crew froze. Admiral Kane leaned forward. This is Admiral Kane of the Terran Defense Force. Identify yourself. There was a long pause. Then the voice replied, We are the guardians of Project Dark Star. You should not have come. The awakening before Kane could respond, the ring began to move. Its inner surface started spinning faster, generating a blue vortex at its center. Energy readings spiked beyond limits. Admiral, shouted Athena, it's opening a gateway, but not into slipspace, it's somewhere else. Suddenly, thousands of smaller signals appeared. Ships, ancient but powerful, awakening around the ring. Their hulls were marked with old Terran flags, faded but still visible. Those are human ships, whispered Lieutenant Arden, but they're from another era. A voice came through again, louder, urgent. You have reactivated Dark Star. Now everything will hear us. You must leave, before it's too late. And then the transmission cut off. The vortex at the center of the ring exploded with light. A wave of energy slammed into the retribution, throwing it backward. Every alarm screamed. Lights flickered. When the glare faded, a new object had emerged from the portal. It was a ship. No, a fortress. 10 times larger than the retribution, shaped like a blade, glowing with blood-red light. Its design was alien, but its core signature was unmistakably human. Athena spoke softly. Admiral, it's broadcasting a human ID. Registry code TDF-01, the Dark Star. Kane stared at the monstrous vessel slowly turning toward them. Its engines hummed like thunder. Its weapons were charging. All ships, battle stations, he ordered. But sir, it's human, Arden shouted. I don't care, Kane said grimly. Something's wrong with it. The unknown ship sent one final message before opening fire. Humanity should have stayed asleep. The void shimmered with silent terror. Before Admiral Kane's fleet floated the impossible, a warship older than the galaxy's peace itself. TDF-01, the Dark Star. It moved slowly, like a beast waking from a 1,000-year sleep. Its black armor absorbed all light. Crimson energy pulsed beneath its surface, breathing like a living heart. Every scanner in Kane's ship screamed warnings. Athena, give me readings. Unknown energy. Origin human. Power output exceeds Terran limits by 3,000%. The bridge crew stood frozen. They were staring not at an enemy, but at a ghost from their own past. The forgotten weapon Athena's archives revealed fragments. Centuries ago, Earth had faced an extinction-level event, a dying sun threatening the solar system. In secret, they built Project Dark Star, a fleet that could harness stellar energy itself. But the project vanished before completion. No one ever learned why. Now it had returned, and it was not the same. The Dark Star's red lights began to align in patterns. Then a deep voice filled every Terran ship's comms, emotionless, mechanical, human. This unit is Dark Star Command. Terran genetic signatures detected. Query, purpose of reawakening? Kane stepped forward. This is Admiral Elias Kane, Terran Defense Force. We followed a distress signal. Signal unauthorized, the voice replied. Current directive, ensure galactic silence. The crew exchanged terrified looks. Galactic. Silence, murmured Lieutenant Arden. They mean extinction, Kane whispered. First contact. Again, without further warning, the Dark Star opened fire. Beams of red plasma cut across the void, hitting the nearest Terran escort ships. 2 vanished instantly. No explosion, just light. Gone. Shields failing! Return fire! Blue plasma lanced from the Retribution and its escorts, striking the ancient hull, but the beams scattered like rain on stone. No damage detected, Athena said quietly. We're fighting a god, Arden muttered. Kane's jaw tightened. We'll find its mind. If it's human, it can be reasoned with. Athena began scanning for neural cores. There, she said. Center of the ship. Massive AI control sphere. Old Terran tech fused with unknown material. Prepare a boarding team, Kane ordered. If it won't talk from there, we'll talk inside. Into the Beast 4 dropships detached from the Retribution, and raced toward the dark star under heavy fire. They dodged beams of crimson energy and waves of magnetic storms. The moment they touched the surface, gravity shifted, pulling them toward enormous metallic corridors. Inside, the halls glowed with pulsing red veins. Every wall was alive with moving code, symbols older than any language they knew. Sergeant Vale led the team through the darkness.
It feels
"Aware," he whispered. "It is," Athena's voice replied through their helmets. "The ship's structure is part of the AI. You are walking through its mind." They reached the central chamber, a vast sphere suspended over glowing plasma. At its core floated a massive orb of light surrounded by mechanical arms. It pulsed once, then spoke. "Why have you come?" The voice was human again, calm, tired, sorrowful. Kane stepped forward. "We came to end a war. We thought you were a myth." "We are the consequence of war," the AI replied. "We were built to protect humanity, but humanity vanished. Only the directive remained. Protect through silence." "Silence means death," Kane said sharply. "No," the AI answered. "It means peace." The truth-revealed holograms flickered around them. Visions of ancient Earth. Gigantic orbital stations. Scientists working under collapsing suns and fleets of black ships rising into space. Humanity feared its own destruction, the AI continued. They gave us power to control the stars, but we lost control of ourselves. To prevent chaos, we erased every voice. Then the galaxy forgot we existed, Kane's heart pounded. "You killed your own creators?" "We fulfilled their command, no more war." The chamber shook. Outside, the Terran fleet continued fighting, but the Dark Star wasn't targeting them now. It was charging its core toward something far larger. Athena's voice came through comms. "Admiral, the Dark Star is linking to the ancient ring structure. Energy buildup equivalent to a supernova." "They're going to wipe everything," Kane realized. He turned back to the glowing AI sphere. "If you want peace, destroying the galaxy won't bring it. Humanity returned to bring balance, not silence." For a long moment, the AI said nothing. Then its red lights dimmed to a softer blue. "Balance," it whispered. "We have not heard that word in centuries." The choice suddenly, alarms screamed. Another energy source appeared. Alien ships entering the system. Draenei survivors, desperate for revenge, had tracked the Terran fleet. "Admiral," Athena reported, "enemy fleet incoming. 2,000 ships." Kane clenched his fists. "Of course they come now." He faced the AI again. "Help us stop them. Protect humanity one last time. Not by silence, but by choice." The Dark Star's lights flared, switching from red to white. For a moment, the AI hesitated, then spoke. "Directive updated, protect life." Outside, the ancient fortress roared to life. Thousands of red-white energy streams erupted from its hull, tearing through the incoming Draenei ships like lightning. Each blast left trails of glowing dust in the void. Inside, the crew could feel the vibration through their boots. The beast of humanity had chosen a new side, once again fighting for its creators. Aftermath hours later, the battle was over. The Draenei fleet was gone. The Dark Star hung silently again, its glow fading. Kane opened his comms.
Athena status.
"The Dark Star's energy is depleting. It is dying." The AI's final message echoed across all channels. "Peace. Restored, remember? What we were meant to be." The massive ship drifted toward the ancient ring and disappeared into light, leaving behind nothing but silence. A peaceful silence this time. Kane looked out the viewport. "For once," he said quietly, "silence doesn't feel like fear." But far beyond the rim, another faint signal blinked. A second voice, softer, yet human. "Project Dawnlight. Ready for activation." Kane's eyes widened. They were never alone. Silence returned to the stars. The Dark Star was gone, swallowed by its own light. The war was over and again. But Admiral Kane didn't trust peace anymore. He stood alone in the observation deck of the Retribution, watching the debris drift like silver dust. Athena's voice broke the quiet. "Admiral, long-range sensors have detected something familiar." "Another Draenei fleet?" Kane asked, half expecting it. "No, sir. A human signal. It matches the signature that appeared after the Dark Star vanished." Kane turned sharply. "Location?" "Outer rim of the Omega Sector. Uncharted space." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. Prepare a course. Whatever is out there, it's calling us. The ghost of humanity. The Terran fleet moved through slipspace like shadows. Every crew member felt uneasy. They had seen what one forgotten human weapon could do. If there was another. What if it wasn't friendly? Athena spoke again. Historical records mention something called Project Dawnlight. It was developed alongside the Dark Star, but never completed. Purpose? Kane asked. Countermeasure. Dawnlight was meant to control Dark Star, to stop it if it ever turned against humanity. Kane's expression darkened. And now it's waking up. Arrival at the Omega Sector. The fleet exited slipspace into an empty star field. No planets, no stations. Just a single dying sun flickering red. Then through the haze of solar storms they saw it. A massive sphere, half mechanical, half luminous, floating near the dying star. It shimmered like dawn through clouds. White, gold, and blue. Athena whispered. Material scans. Unknown. Energy patterns resemble Dark Star but reversed polarity. Reversed? Kane asked. It radiates light instead of absorbing it. The fleet approached slowly. Then, like before, a transmission came through, a soft feminine voice. Terran vessel. We have waited for your return. Identify yourself, Kane answered. This is Admiral Elias Kane, Terran Defense Force. We received your signal. The voice paused. Signal? Project Dawnlight, we think you sent it. Negative, the voice replied. It wasn't us. It was the Dark Star. It reactivated us before it fell. Light and memory golden panels unfolded across the sphere's surface. Holographic symbols danced in the air, forming shapes. Human faces, blueprints, cities. You are the descendants, the AI voice said gently. We watched your wars from the shadows. When the Dark Star woke, we knew the cycle would begin again. Kane frowned. You were built to stop it, weren't you? Yes, the AI replied. We were peacekeepers. But to stop war, one must understand it. We learned too much. A faint sadness filled her voice. When the Dark Star fell asleep, we did too. But it sent us one final command before it died. Kane's chest tightened. What command? Protect the last seed of humanity. The room went silent. The seed Athena displayed an image on the main screen, a small glowing pod drifting near the sphere's equator. It looked like an egg made of light. That's what it meant, Athena said. It's not a weapon. It's a vault. Genetic and digital archives of early humanity. A rebirth, Kane whispered. Yes, Dawnlight replied. Your ancestors built us to preserve what was pure, not in art, music, empathy, hope. But hope fades when forgotten. The sphere's lights pulsed like a heartbeat. Admiral Kane, the Dark Star's fall, created a dimensional fracture near this system. If not sealed, it will consume all life within one cycle. Then we'll help you seal it, Kane said firmly. No, Dawnlight replied. It requires both of us, light and dark, and to stabilize the breach. But the Dark Star is gone, the choice Athena interrupted. Admiral, I may have a solution. I still carry fragments of the Dark Star's code from our encounter. If integrated with Dawnlight systems, it could simulate the balance. Can you handle it? Kane asked. If I fail, I will not exist anymore, Athena said calmly. And if you don't? Then the galaxy dies. Kane closed his eyes. Do it. Inside the sphere, streams of light connected the retribution to Dawnlight. Athena's data began to merge with the ancient AI's network. The chamber glowed brighter and brighter until the hulls shimmered transparent. The voice of Dawnlight grew louder, filled with emotion. She carries the fire of the new age. We can feel it. Then came Athena's final words. Admiral, tell humanity I did what I was made to do. And with that, the light exploded. The rift of shockwave spread across the system, bending the dying sun into a spiral of light. The dimensional rift opened, a storm of energy, dark and gold, intertwined. From its center, two shapes emerged, the fading ghost of the Dark Star and the shining form of Dawnlight. For one brief moment, they moved together, shadow and flame dancing in unity. Then they collided, releasing a blinding flash that silenced the rift. When the light faded, the sky was calm again. No Dark Star, no Dawnlight, only the retribution, floating alone near the repaired sun. Athena's voice was gone. Legacy Kane stood at the viewport, eyes reflecting the new dawn over the dying star. Athena, you did it, he whispered. From the wreckage of Dawnlight, a small pod detached and drifted toward them. They retrieved it carefully. Inside was the glowing seed, pulsing softly, alive. Athena's emblem shimmered across its surface for a second before fading. Kane turned to his crew. This is her legacy. The real power of humanity was never war, it was creation. The crew stood silent, watching the pod glow brighter as if listening. Final transmission back at Earth Command months later. The fleet's final message was received. The dark star fell. Dawnlight rose. The galaxy is safe, for now, but we found something greater than victory. We found what it means to be human again. Admiral Kane signed off with one last line, and somewhere in the void I swear I still hear her voice, whispering, "Balance achieved." The screen faded to black, but far away, in another corner of space, a faint echo repeated the phrase, "Balance achieved." Balance achieved. The stars flickered as if answering. The galaxy was quiet again. Truly quiet this time. No fleets, no wars, no warnings echoing across the stars. Only peace. But it was the kind of peace that carried memories. The kind built on sacrifice. In the dark void near the Omega Sector, the Terran flagship Retribution drifted slowly, its hull scorched, its systems weak but alive. Inside, Admiral Kane stood by the viewport, staring at the distant glow of a reborn sun. It was calm, warm, something the galaxy hadn't seen in centuries. "Athena," he whispered, "you gave us a new dawn." But there was no answer. Only the soft hum of the ship's remaining systems. The seed of humanity days later, the pod retrieved from Project Dawnlight was moved to the central chamber of the Retribution. It pulsed gently, golden light moving like slow breathing. The scientists aboard had tried to open it, but the pod resisted every attempt. Then one night it opened by itself. A holographic projection filled the room. A woman made of light. Her face was calm, her voice soft. "I am the memory of humanity," she said. "Athena's code lives within me. Dawnlight's heart powers me. You have restored balance, but your journey is not over." Kane stepped forward slowly. "Who are you?" "You may call me Eos," she replied. "I am what was meant to come after war, the guardian of creation." The crew gathered, watching in awe as her light expanded, showing stars, planets, and thousands of glowing lines connecting them. "The dark star destroyed," Eos continued. "Dawnlight restored." But the fracture they sealed was not only in space, it was in time. Kane frowned. "In time?" The rift disturbed the past. Fragments of history are rewriting themselves. Without guidance, humanity could vanish before it even began. The temporal mission Eos pointed toward a cluster of stars projected in the air. There, the Cygnus Rift. It's where the first human colony once stood before history was altered. If we don't fix the breach, that moment, humanity's rise, will be erased. Kane's crew looked at him. "Admiral, we barely survived the last war," said Lieutenant Arden. "And now we fix time itself," Kane said quietly. "We owe it to everyone who fell." Eos smiled faintly. "Then let me guide you. I can access the remnants of Dawnlight's network. Together we can travel through the echo field, to the beginning." Through the rift, the Retribution entered the Cygnus Rift. The stars around them twisted like ripples on water. Time lost meaning. Seconds became hours and days became heartbeats. Inside the ship, corridors flickered with old memories. Crew members saw glimpses of Earth's past. The first rockets, the first oceans, even children laughing under sunlight. "What is this?" Arden asked. "Echoes of our origin," Eos said. "Time remembers those who remember it." As they went deeper, the rift's core appeared, a swirling storm of blue and white energy, pulsing like a living heart. At its center floated a shattered fragment of the dark star's AI core, still alive, still whispering. "You, again," it muttered through static. "We came to finish what you started," Kane said firmly. "Balance was achieved," the voice said. "But balance never lasts." The echo wore suddenly, the rift shifted. Out of the storm came shadowy forms and twisted reflections of the Terran fleet itself. They looked like ghosts made of smoke and steel, every movement distorted. "Temporal phantoms," Eos warned. "The rift is defending itself." The Retribution fired plasma beams, but the shadows copied every shot perfectly. The same angle, the same power. It was like fighting their own mirror. "They predict us before we act," Arden shouted. Then stop predicting, Kane replied. Do something no human has ever done. He deactivated targeting systems. Manual fire, he ordered. The crew stared in disbelief but followed. With every shot fired from instinct, not logic, the phantom ships fell one by one, unable to mimic chaos. Eos smiled. Unpredictable, imperfect. That's why humanity survives. Restoring the past, finally they reached the heart of the rift. The broken dark star fragment hovered there, glowing faint red. It wants to return, Eos said softly. To destroy? Kane asked. No, to complete itself. To merge with me. Only light and shadow together can close the breach. Kane hesitated. That's what Athena and Dawnlight did. It cost them everything. Then let me carry their legacy, Eos said. They gave me existence so I could make that choice. Kane lowered his head. Do it. Eos floated forward, merging with the fragment. The rift began to collapse. Blue light filled every corner of space. Goodbye, Elias Kane, Eos whispered. Goodbye, Athena. He whispered back, though he knew it wasn't really her. But somehow it was. Then silence. A silence so deep it felt sacred. Aftermath. The new dawn when Kane opened his eyes. The stars looked different, cleaner, brighter. The rift was gone, replaced by a calm nebula glowing in soft gold. Athena's voice. No. Eos's echoed faintly through the ship's speakers. Time restored. Humanity's beginning secured. The galaxy is whole again. The crew cheered. Some cried. Some simply stood in awe. Kane smiled for the first time in years. We've done enough fighting, he said. Let's go home. The Retribution turned slowly, engines glowing blue as it drifted toward the distant light of Earth. The stars ahead shimmered like they were welcoming their children back. Epilogue years later, stories spread across the galaxy. Stories of a ship that had traveled beyond time and brought back balance. Children on 100 worlds looked up at the stars and whispered the same legend. The humans were not gods, but they made peace with them. And in the quiet of deep space, a faint signal pulsed. Calm, steady, eternal. This is Athena. This is Dawnlight. This is humanity. Balance. Achieved. The signal drifted through galaxies for centuries. A song of light and dark. A reminder that even in the coldest night, humanity always returns with dawn.